In May 1985, I had the opportunity to return to Japan at the height of the cherry blossom season, arriving in Tokyo, the height of the season, and for 3 weeks travelling northwest, so everywhere we went it was cherry blossom time. In the grounds of one castle, Tsuma, there were 5,000 cherry trees with blossom being blown everywhere as if it was like a snowstorm. I had been to Japan on a previous trip with Miyako Wood, who was born in Japan and taught Japanese at St Catherine's Girls' School in Turak, and often took students to Japan on cultural tours. On this, my second trip to Japan, Miyako wished to visit her mother in Tokyo prior to travelling to places she had never seen before, and arranged for 4 of us to travel as a group, an opportunity too good to miss. I gladly offered to spend 5 days in Tokyo with my friends Eddie and Julie Bates, both of whom had not been to Japan before, whilst Miyako spent their time with her mother before we started our tour. First day in Tokyo, I took them by train to the Ginza, to the big department store Matsuvaya. Eddie, who had no idea of direction, became lost, and in desperation, after a short time, I plucked up enough courage to call out, but how do you attract attention among a nation in shops with a very quiet atmosphere? So I decided to use the Australian bush call known as Cooee. And finally Eddie turned up. So for 3 weeks, wherever he became lost, Cooee was the answer, and it became a great joke. Everywhere we visited, terrific scenery, including the Garden of Adachi Museum, art being better and better every day. Miyako had certainly researched every detail, making it a most enjoyable experience. On the second last day, we had travelled by train to a place where few tourists travel. Hinosumisaki was a lovely village situated right at the coast of the Sea of Japan. A taxi driver suggested we first of all visit a restaurant near the sea and order our lunch, which would be ready in about an hour's time, allowing us to walk along the coastline and enjoy the view, then come back and have a meal. Then he would take us to some interesting places. Julie and Eddie not being fit, when we got to a lighthouse, they suggested Miyako and I climb the top, and immediately Eddie cooed, signalling he wanted to take a photo. After our meal, the taxi driver took us to a cliffside, where there were hundreds of carved figures in full size of young children. He explained that anyone who had sadly lost a child would come here and align the memory of their child to do some of their figures with food, clothing, etc. He then chatted away at Miyako and pointed upwards. Miyako explained there was a 400-metre climb for another magnificent view. So Eddie and Julie offered to wait until we returned. Off the 3 of us went up, and when we reached the top, I saw one of the most beautiful green valleys, as wide as you could see. I turned to Miyako and said, we have been using Cooee to help Eddie, but now I'll show you what it really can do in the bush. With my best Cooee I could muster, back came a magnificent echo, and then another double the Cooee, because Eddie down below answered. The taxi driver could not believe his ears and asked me to do it again, with the same result. He then pointed his nose, and Miyako said this is how Japanese indicated they wanted to try, so that no matter how badly he tried, Eddie would reply, and gradually the driver got the technique. He explained he was a keen rock fisherman and had yet not found a successful way of attracting his friends on the rocks, and this was one. On returning down below, Eddie raced up to me and said, "You stupid bastard. For 3 weeks you have been calling me an idiot. It took me 15 Cooees to get you back here." I said, Eddie, sorry, Eddie, but you were talking to the taxi driver."